I bet you're using your plunger wrong. And I bet that is the exact reason the clog is still sitting there. I have been a plumber a long time, and I have walked into more bathrooms than I can count where somebody is standing there red in the face, arms sore, floor soaked, and the water still is not going down. Almost never is that because the clog is some monster. It is because of 4 small things people do with the plunger without ever knowing they're doing them. So why does the clog stay? That is what we are fixing today. 4 mistakes, 1 at a time, in plain talk, with the exact fix for each one. And stay with me to the end, because the last thing I show you is the part that actually breaks a clog loose. It is close to the opposite of what most folks do. And once you feel it work, you will not go back. Here is the part the trade is not going to sit you down and explain. There's no money in teaching you to clear your own clog in 20 seconds. There is money in the service call. That is not a conspiracy. It is just how the bills get paid. So nobody hands you the 5 minutes of plunger knowledge that would save you a few $100. I am going to hand it to you right now. But first, real quick, what even is a clog? Because it changes how you fight it. A household clog is almost never some solid brick jammed in the pipe. In a kitchen line, it is usually grease. You pour a little warm bacon fat down the drain. It slides down looking like a liquid, and then it cools on the inside of the pipe and sets up hard, like candle wax setting on a holder. Then it grabs the coffee grounds and the food bits going past, and it builds. In a bathroom drain, it is hair and soap doing the same thing, layering up on the pipe wall like plaque building up in an artery, until the opening is down to the size of a straw. That kind of clog is soft, and it is sitting in the pipe, not welded to it, which is exactly why a plunger works on it. You are not smashing concrete. You are knocking a soft plug of gunk loose with a shove and a pull of water. Keep that picture in your head, because it tells you why every fix I am about to give you actually matters. Let me start with the mistake that wastes more effort than all the others combined. The wrong tool. Walk into most homes, and there is one plunger under the sink. It has a flat rubber cup on a wooden handle, usually red, and people use it on everything. Toilet, sink, tub, whatever clogs first. And that flat cup plunger is the wrong tool for a toilet, every time. Here is why, and it is simple once you see it. A flat cup plunger is built to seal against a flat surface. The bottom of a sink is flat. The bottom of a tub is flat. The cup lays down over the drain and makes a tight seal, like a suction cup on a window. But a toilet does not have a flat drain. The hole at the bottom of the bowl is curved, and it heads off sideways into the pipe. Press a flat cup over that curved opening, and it cannot grip. It slides, it lets air pass the edges, and when you push down hard, it folds up and flips it inside out on you. All that force you are putting in is leaking out around the rim. None of it is reaching the clog. What a toilet needs is a flange plunger. A flange is just a smaller rubber sleeve that folds down out of the middle of the cup, like a second little cup on the inside. That sleeve is shaped to slide down into the curved mouth of the toilet drain and seal it from the inside. Now, when you push, the force has nowhere to escape. It goes straight down the pipe and into the clog, which is the whole point. Think of it like a key. A flat cup in a toilet is the wrong key in the lock. You can jiggle it all day and rattle it hard, but it is never going to turn, because the shape is wrong. The flange plunger is the key cut for that lock. There's a third kind you might see too, called an accordion plunger, the hard plastic one that folds up like a bellows. It can hit hard, but that stiff plastic does not seal as easily as rubber. So for most folks, I say keep it simple with a rubber flange plunger and do not overthink it. One more thing while we are here. Keep your toilet plunger and your sink plunger separate. One lives by the toilet, a different one lives by the sinks. That is just basic hygiene, and it costs you nothing to do it right. So the fix costs you almost nothing. A flange plunger runs you maybe $10, $15 at any hardware store. A flat cup plunger for your sinks and tub is about the same. Buy both. Keep them separate for hygiene, and you are into it for under $30, one time, for years. Compare that to what you pay a plumber to walk in and clear a simple clog, which I will put a real number on in a minute. The tool is not where you should be saving money. Using the wrong one is the expensive choice. That is mistake one. Now the second one is the reason so many people plunge and just make a mess. Not enough water in the bowl or the sink. This one comes down to a little bit of physics, and I promise to keep it plain. A plunger does its work through water, not through air. Water. When you push the cup down, you are not squishing the clog with the rubber. You are shoving a column of water down the pipe, and that water hammers the clog. It works because water does not compress. You cannot squeeze water into a smaller space. Push on it, and it pushes back, and it shoves whatever is in front of it. That is hydraulic pressure, which is a fancy way of saying force carried through a liquid. Air is the opposite. Air compresses. Air squishes. So if the cup of your plunger is sitting over the drain, but it is full of air instead of water, every time you push down, you are just squashing that air like a spring. It gives, it bounces back, and almost none of that force ever reaches the clog. You get a lot of noise, a lot of splatter, and a sore arm, and nothing moves. So here's the fix, and it is free. Before you start plunging, make sure there's enough water in the bowl or the sink to completely cover the rubber cup. In a toilet, that usually means there is already plenty. And if anything, you may want to bail some out so it does not slosh over the rim. In a sink, you often have to add water. Run the tap or pour some in until the cup is under the surface. You want that cup drowned, so when you press, it is pushing water, not air. That one change turns a plunger from a noisemaker into a tool. Quick one while we are here. If you own an older home, I put together a book called 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. A big chunk of it is catching small leaks before they ruin a floor, a ceiling, or a cabinet, back when the fix is still cheap. Link is in the description, and there is a QR code on screen if that is easier. All right, here is where it gets good, because the next fix is the one that separates people who clear a sink in 30 seconds from people who give up. The seal, or really the lack of one. I told you a plunger works by pushing water down the pipe, but water and pressure are lazy. They will always take the easiest way out. And in a sink, there are two escape hatches you are probably not thinking about. The first one is the overflow hole. Look at the top edge of your bathroom sink, up near the rim. There is a little opening there, sometimes one hole, sometimes a couple of slots. That is the overflow, and it is connected by a hidden channel right back into the drain below. It is there so that if you leave the tap running, the sink drains out the top instead of flooding your bathroom. useful. But when you plunge, all your pressure runs straight up that channel and puffs out the overflow hole instead of going down at the clog. You are pushing as hard as you can, and the pipe is just breathing it right back out the side. So you plug it. Take a wet rag, ball it up, and jam it into that overflow hole. Hold it there or wedge it in tight. Now the pressure has nowhere to go but down. The second escape hatch shows up in a kitchen. If you have a double bowl sink, the two drains are joined underneath. Plunge one side and the pressure just shoots up and burps out the other drain. You will actually see the water jump in the second bowl. So you plug that one too. Wet rag, press down firm over the second drain, or get a helper to hold a stopper on it. Seal every exit except the one you want, which is straight down the line at the clog. No fancy tools for any of this. A rag you already own. But skip it, and you can plunge till your arm falls off and wonder why nothing is happening. The pressure was escaping the whole time. That is mistake 3. The fourth one is about how you actually move the plunger. And almost everybody gets the very first move backward. People step up to a clog angry. They rear back and slam that first plunge down as hard as they possibly can. And what happens? The bathroom gets redecorated. Dirty water flies straight back up in your face and all over the floor. Then they do it again, harder, madder, wetter. Here is the correction. Your first plunge should be gentle, slow and easy, barely there. Because when you first set that cup down over the drain, it is full of trapped air. Remember, air is the enemy here. If you smash down on a cup full of air, that air has to go somewhere, and it comes right back up through the water and blows it out at you. That is your splashback. So the first push is soft, just to press that trapped air out from under the cup and let the cup fill with water. Once you have done that gentle first push and the air is out and you have a good seal, then you get vigorous. Then you can really work it. But that first stroke is a setup stroke, not a power stroke. Gentle first, then hard. Do it in that order, and you stay dry and your force goes where it should. Now let me put the money on the table, because this is the whole reason I care about you getting this right. Every single fix I just gave you is either free or costs you a few dollars one time. The plunger, under $20. The rag, you already own it. The water, the technique, the order of the strokes, all of it. Nothing. Zero. Now, here's the other side. Call a plumber out to clear a simple clog, and you are generally looking at somewhere around $150 to $350 for the visit. A lot of shops charge a trip fee just to pull into your driveway, and that alone can run $50 to $200. And if it is a weekend or a holiday or the middle of the night, that number climbs fast. Emergency toilet calls can run several hundred more. For a clog, you very likely could have cleared yourself in about a minute with a $15 tool and the right technique. I am not telling you to never call a plumber. Some clogs are past you, and I will tell you exactly which ones in a second. I am telling you not to pay a few $100 for the ones that are not. Let me hit the common problems fast, the stuff people ask me about every week. My plunger keeps flipping inside out. That is a cup plunger in a toilet. Go back to mistake 1. Get a flange plunger. I plunged and nothing happened. 9 times out of 10, there is no seal or no water. Check the overflow hole on a sink, check the second bowl, and make sure that cup is drowned. Fix the seal and the water and try again before you assume the worst. My plunger is old and cracked. Throw it out. If the rubber is split or stiff or torn, it cannot hold a seal, and a plunger that cannot seal is a stick with a hat on it. A new one is a few dollars. And now the important one. When should you stop plunging and actually call somebody? Here is the line, and I want you to take this part seriously. If it is just the one toilet or the one sink acting up, that is a local clog, and it is yours to fight. But if more than one drain is backing up at the same time, if you flush the toilet and the tub gurgles or fills, if you run the kitchen sink and the bathroom drain bubbles, or if you catch a sewage smell coming up, stop. That is not a clog under your fixture. That is a problem out in your main line, the big pipe that carries everything out of the house. Plunging that will get you nowhere and can push a mess back up somewhere else. That is the call worth paying for. Knowing the difference is exactly how you save money without doing anything reckless. One more, and this is the one I will not soften, because it is about your eyes and your skin. Do not plunge on top of a chemical drain cleaner. Ever. If you already poured one of those caustic cleaners down the drain and it did not work, do not then grab the plunger and start hammering. Those cleaners are built on lye or an acid. That is not marketing. Lye and sulfuric acid are the actual ingredients, and they burn human tissue on contact instantly. When you plunge, you create splashback. We already covered that. So now you are launching a spray of lye or acid up out of that drain and into your face and your eyes. That is not a mess. That is an emergency room visit. A splash of that in your eye can cost you your sight. So my honest advice, and this is what I tell everybody, is to steer clear of those caustic drain cleaners in the first place. They eat your pipes almost as fast as they eat a clog, especially in an older home with older pipes. And they set up exactly this hazard. A plunger and the right technique are safer, cheaper, and usually work better anyway. If a clog has already got chemicals sitting on it, that is a moment to stop and call a pro who knows it is in there, not a moment to swing a plunger. Okay, I promised you at the top that I would show you the part that actually breaks a clog loose, the part that is close to the opposite of what most people do. Here it is. Everybody thinks plunging is about the push. Shove down, force the clog through, done. And the push matters, sure. But it is the pull that does half the work, and nobody tells you that. Think about what is happening down there. When you push down, you drive water at the clog and pack it tighter against the pipe. But when you pull the plunger back up and you keep that seal tight, you create suction. You yank water and pressure backward, and that drags the clog loose from the other direction. Push packs it. Pull rips it free. You need both. A clog that will not move when you shove it will very often let go the second you pull back on it. So 2 things. First, do not break the seal between strokes. This is the mistake. People push down, then lift the plunger clear off the drain, reset, and push again. Every time you lift it off, you throw away all your suction. You are only ever using half the tool. Keep that cup planted and sealed and work it down and up without popping it loose. Push and pull are one motion, back and forth, like a piston. Second, give it time. 1 or 2 plunges and a peak does nothing. Get your seal, get your water, and then work it steady for a good 15 to 20 seconds before you stop to check. That is longer than it sounds when your arm is burning, so count it out. Down and up, down and up. Keep the seal for a full count of 15 to 20. Then break it and see. Most clogs that were never going to move for a hard shove will slide right out for 15 seconds of steady push and pull, with the seal held tight. That is the whole secret. Right tool, enough water, sealed exits, gentle first stroke, and then steady push and pull without breaking the seal. Do those and you will clear the large majority of the clogs you will ever meet in your house, standing right there for free. Before you go, that book again. 100 old house fixes that save you thousands, built around at-home checklists and a seasonal maintenance calendar so you catch the small stuff before it turns into a big bill. Link and QR code are in the description. And if you want more fixes that keep money in your pocket instead of a plumber's, subscribe to Roger the Pipe Guy, and I will keep them coming.